Hey guys, so welcome to part 2 of the Viome series. If you recall, in part 1 we did the unboxing of Viome and I talked a little bit about the reasons why I decided to take this test and what I was looking to get out of it. And so if you don't remember though, and you want some more background as to why I decided to take the Viome test, check out the link, it's in the description. You'll be interested in finding out exactly what sort of issues I was encountering and what led me to take the Viome test. But today, in part 2, we're going to talk about those results. What foods and supplements Viome has decided to recommend based off of their analysis of my gut microbiome. So let's get into it. I finally got the notification alerting me that my recommendations has come in. And so I downloaded the Viome app, which I have in front of me here. Pretty much they broke down, there's 3 main components to it. There is my health score as far as where my gut health rates. And that's based upon a number of different functional activities that they grade individually. The second component is obviously the food recommendations, and then the third are the supplement recommendations. So let's start with the gut microbiome health score. And so this is the home page here, and I'm gonna skip over for now the recommended foods and the recommended supplements, and I'm gonna go down to the bottom and click on and check out my my health score. You can see it's a 35, and this is out of 100. So, and it's red, so clearly not great. So if I click on it, you see the scale there, 35 to 100, and it explains to you, exactly how did they come up with this score. And I mentioned it's based off a number of different functional activities, which they describe as the following: inflammatory activity, metabolic fitness, digestive efficiency, gut lining health, protein fermentation, gas production, and active microbial diversity. Now, each of these seem very scientific and as if like, okay, what do these exactly mean? Well, they actually go into detail. So if you were to click on, for example, inflammatory activity, which I have a 51, it's probably one of my better scores actually, sadly enough. If I click into it, it tells me exactly what is inflammatory activity about, and then how that impacts positively and or negatively my gut health. And then on top of that, the nutrients to help support an improved score. So they go from vitamin D3 to ashwagandha to vitamin C and so on and so forth. And they do this for each of the functional activities. So we've seen for inflammatory activity, metabolic fitness, same concept. They give you the scale. They tell you exactly what is metabolic fitness in reference to, and the nutrients that I should take in order to support a better score. It's good for a couple things. One, to understand exactly what the issues are from a biological standpoint, and then how you can address each of those issues through natural supplements. Let's move on to some of the more fun stuff like the recommended foods. I go back here, and then I scroll back up. I'm gonna skip over supplements for now and go to view all my foods. And here you see that it's categorized starting with superfoods. Let's start with the avoid stuff first. So I'm gonna filter it, click on avoid, and then hit done. And now it just filtered down for the foods that I should be avoiding. The reason why I wanna start here is because it's particularly interesting. You'd think that there's foods out there that are good for you and nutrient dense, and that may very well be the case, but what makes Viome particularly useful is that it really dials in as to what bacteria you need at this moment in time in order to repair your gut. And as we know, different foods have different types of bacteria. So something that is typically good for you or traditionally good for all of us is not recommended at this point in time. So broccoli at the top was a big surprise for me. At that time, I ate quite a bit of broccoli. Coffee was an everyday thing, and that's a big red avoid. So that was jarring. Eggs and chicken, egg yolk, chicken. I eat eggs every day, and a lot of them, like 6. So that was pretty jarring as well. And then there's some other ones, mustard greens and pistachios. I love pistachios, but that was more of a snack for me. But you can see some other traditionally healthy stuff that said, hey, you should avoid it. So those are the avoid foods. That was a significant adjustment, particularly around the coffee and spinach and eggs. Then there's the minimize category, which you might as well just put as avoid. I mean, if you're doing this, you know, you might as well just go all in. But they try to break it down between foods that you should totally avoid, minimize, enjoy, and ones you should really, really go off on. So for the minimize, as you can see, I'm using a filter. Select minimize, press done, and it tells me, obviously in alphabetical order, the foods I should be minimizing into my diet. Some big ones that start that surprised me were almonds. Like almonds was a go-to snack for me. I had almonds in my shake, almonds as an afternoon snack. I mean, and this is for years. So almonds was like my go-to. So that was one that I had to minimize. You see some other ones that are not so common, at least for me. I mean, cantaloupe, that wasn't often for me. Cheese, I had really already minimized cheese, so that wasn't that big of an adjustment. Chia seeds, that's something that I put regularly into my shakes, and that's something that I had to obviously minimize according to the results. So let's go to the enjoy meals. I'm gonna click on E, click on done, and then it starts at the top with almond milk. So almond milk I had already been consuming. I don't consume, I guess like, the regular traditional dairy. So almond milk was something that I could continue enjoying. So that was welcome news. Arugula, avocado, thank God avocado was as a food that they categorize under the enjoy. So I had already enjoyed avocados and I continue to do so. So that was definitely a welcome surprise. In fact, this list actually gave me some new ideas, things that I hadn't really been consuming before, like kiwis, for example, and sardines is another one. So sardines, I've always loved sardines, and but I've kind of forgot about them. So when I saw them as part of my enjoy list, I started reincorporating that back into my diet, or protocol. I like to use the word protocol better. Let's go to the superfoods. I'll just click on Superfoods here. And the list is not as long, but they kind of overlap a little bit. We saw avocado as far as the enjoy list, so I guess they really wanted to re-emphasize how great avocado could be for me. Lamb, I began really incorporating after realizing it's a superfood for me. Pumpkin seeds is something that I wouldn't have learned in much detail if it wasn't for Viome. And to understand and like realize all the health benefits of pumpkin seeds was one of those like great takeaways from this experience, because pumpkin seeds now is just like a regular part of my diet. Let's pivot to the supplements. So I'm gonna go and scroll down here, and they count 56 total ingredients that have been identified for me. So when they say ingredients, they're talking about vitamins, herbs, minerals, food extracts, amino acids, prebiotics, and probiotics. So if I click on this here, view all of my supplements, they split them between 48 and 9. So they're suggesting that I have 48 supplement ingredients and 9 of those, and plus 9 probiotic and prebiotic ingredients. As I scroll down, I'll see all the nutrients that they're recommending for me. Vitamin D3, which is probably something that I recommend for everybody, considering how deficient at least Americans are in vitamin D. And this here, this is actually, I can't pronounce it great, but let's say it's Bacillus coagulans. This is a probiotic strain. Now, this wasn't particularly helpful because, I didn't really know much about probiotics and prebiotics and all the different strains. And so when I would go to Whole Foods, for example, I just buy a fancy probiotic and think that I was, doing myself a favor. But in actuality, I was probably feeding myself bacteria or certain strains that I did not either need or would benefit from. And so they break it down to the specific strain that is helpful for you. So this strain here, which I won't attempt to repeat again, but you can see here on the phone, is one that they recommended as part of my probiotic intake. That is a summary pretty much of the results and recommendations, both from a food and supplement standpoint. So now that I got those results, it was time to implement some changes. And they were not gonna be easy, especially for some of the stuff that I was really accustomed to, and now we're on my totally avoid list. So like the eggs and the coffee, those I had to drop immediately. By the way, it's worth noting that these are temporary recommendations. These are recommendations that are for the moment in time, for how my gut is currently. The idea is that once it's healed and repaired, that then I can go back to enjoying some of those other foods that I had been enjoying, like a coffee or eggs, for example, or those almonds that I was mentioning. It doesn't actually give you like a recommended timeline to, to have this diet or to, adhere to a certain protocol. What I've heard as far as other people using it, through online, you at least want to do it for 2 months, maybe even 3 months. I decided to go ahead and give it at least 3 months. And I had varying levels of success as far as, how I was able to stick to the protocol. I was able to get rid of the eggs. Coffee was definitely tough to come by. I did not stay as disciplined as I could have according to the results they were giving me, probably because maybe I was expecting results very quickly and I thought maybe I knew more than the result itself. And who knows, maybe that was just excuses just to excuse myself from not being as disciplined to those recommendations. Besides the foods being an issue, not an issue, but being a challenge, getting the supplements was also something that I had to obviously research about and make sure that I was getting good quality supplements, and also know that there are some supplements out there that combine some of these ingredients or extracts or minerals or whatnot. And so I had to decide whether to get, supplements that would combine these supplements and these extracts or whatnot into one, or get dedicated ones. They provide you a solution to this. They actually, for an extra cost, they do provide like supplement plans. So you can subscribe, you can like get a subscription of supplements, and it's a personalized plan. So they'll actually send you what you need according to what the results were. I thought it was a little costly and something I could just do on my own. And so that's why I decided to just, go off and go to Whole Foods or purchase them on Amazon. I didn't think I repaired my gut in that time frame, those 2-3 months post results. Even though that was the case, I still laid off a few things. I did see I did feel some improvement in terms of like for example, like the enzymes I started taking. Like I could feel like as if, that digestive juices were working, that things were passing a little bit more clear. However, I was still having issues like eczema, and I described some of these issues in the first video, brain fog, exhaustion, tiredness, those things I still felt. And so I knew I wasn't at the place where I wanted to be. Not Viome's fault. I don't think that's a criticism on the kit. The kit did its job. It confirmed that there was something wrong with my gut, and it gave me an idea as to how I can go about fixing it. At that point, it's up to you to implement those changes and recommendations. As far as like a pros and cons standpoint, the pros is that you get a really comprehensive breakdown of the current state of your gut and the foods that you need and don't need or you should avoid. The cons is the fact that in order to get that, for example, like a personalized supplement plan and like an easy way for reference to go to, as far as easy reference, to understand which supplements you needed to pay extra for that. And so that was a bit of a challenge. But Viome, they have their upsells, so that's understandable. And I know it's something that could be helpful with greater discipline. And so I will do this again. I will do the Viome test again because I'm at a different point in time. I'm at a point now where after having done that experience of implementing the recommended foods, I had gone through the experience of fasting. And fasting is really what's brought me to where I am today, where I barely have any eczema. I feel sharp. I feel all the things that I was struggling with before have gotten better. You could probably achieve those sort of results by strictly adhering to the plan. I didn't, and so I went to the extreme route and I fasted for 7 days, water only. So that seemed to really put me in a good spot, but that's not a knock on Viome. So I'm gonna wanna try Viome to see where my gut is today, especially since I had gone through that 7-day water only fast. And I will be trying other testing kits as well. So I'd love to know more about like my testosterone levels. We understand like it's a problem nationwide, worldwide, just testosterone levels going down. I want to see where I stand today in that regard. I'd love to do like a hormone testing kit as well, just because, our hormones are affected in so many different ways that are not so obvious to us. So I'd love to learn a little bit about that, and then run like a blood panel and see, and learn about, just my overall health. And you can learn a lot just from running a basic blood panel. So that's it. I hope you found the video to be informative and a helpful guide on what to expect with Viome based off of my personal experiences. I'd love to know what you think, so please leave a comment. And if you enjoyed the video, please like. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. More to come soon. I'll be sure to be doing videos on hormones and testosterone and blood panels. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'll see you soon.